Mama's been praying for my salvation. I'm somewhere between Amazing Grace and dragging in late when I hear the church bells ring with a little whiskey on my wings.
That was Payton Taylor with Whiskey on My Wings. You are watching HelloooTV. You're watching Hello Hangs. It is Thursday night. My name is Jeff Berman. I'm from HelloooTV. I'm going to be bringing in Payton Taylor in just a minute for a great quick little interview and a tidbit, a little bit of a tease of what we're going to be seeing from her and her awesome bandmates tomorrow night for their concert on HelloooTV. Before we go any further, I just want to thank our sponsors for Hello Hangs and for this season of HelloooTV. First and foremost, Audio-Technica. They're all over the world, but their team in the United States has been super helping us out the entire time that we've even been in existence. So shout out to Audio-Technica. Also, AEH Accounting. They're based in Florida, but don't let that fool you. If you're a small business, if you're an entrepreneur and you need bookkeeping help and tax help, we all do. Hit up AEH Accounting. And our friends at NooWave.co. This is a coffee drink, easy for me to say, that is excellent. If you get jittery, if you get anxious, nervous energy from caffeine, this is the stuff for you. It's for creative types, and it's a match made in heaven for all of us here associated at HelloooTV. Now, without much further ado, I'm going to be bringing in my new friend, Payton Taylor. Payton, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, I just got a note from my producer. Oh, apparently AEH is based in Cincinnati, not in Florida. I don't know why they were based in Florida. In other news, I'm fired. How are you doing?
I am, surprisingly great. Every day it's something new this year, I think, for all of us. But today it's a good day, and I just learned about new coffee that I am going to be trying out. So
yeah, I just had a panel fall on me. So we're batting 1,000 here. We're batting 1,000.
Hey, that's all right. I have something from the Goodwill for $3.99. It's a seasonal depression lamp that I found right before all this started to kind of shut down, and I found it, and it's a great studio light. So we're just holding this thing together with it's good.
Damn it, it's quarantine. You got to do what you got to do. But it's nice to meet you finally. Everyone at the team, on the team in Nashville had nothing but glowing things to say about you and your band. But you're not from Nashville originally, correct? Where are you from?
Originally from outside of Philly, the capital of the world. But that's where I'm from. Outside of Philly on the Jersey side, but I say Philly because people associate Jersey with New York, and then, everyone starts the Joyzy things, and then it's just a mess. So, Philly. We'll just claim that.
So I'm coming to you from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This is where I live now. So I'm familiar with South Jersey and the difference between that and New York. But I got to ask, are you closer where you were from? Are you closer to the city of Philadelphia? Or are you closer to like the Pines, like that central part of Jersey?
We were on the Black Horse Pike, if you're familiar, on the way to the shore, which is the beach, but the beach is the shore and the shore is the beach. Honestly, I was about 30 minutes outside of Philly and maybe 40 minutes from the shore. So kind of right in the Pines. They call it the Pine Barrens. And for anyone who's watching who has no idea what we're talking about, there's pines and it is barrens. It's pretty true. Really not too much besides like a roadside, a really trippy Mother Goose theme park there called
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
I want to shoot a music video there. It would just be the biggest trip. It would just be so weird. But anyway, look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, no, but that part of New Jersey is interesting because I feel like it is a perfect place, fertile ground for someone like yourself who's a country artist. Would you say, Yesh?
Yeah, it was really neat growing up in between Philly because you always get this like underdog spirit of anybody who's from Philly, the rock and such. Whole family's from South Philly, so like where Rocky like ran by straight up, everybody's from.
Yeah.
Then the other half of the year, I got to live close to the shore or the beach. So I mean, it's a whole different world. I always say we had a rodeo like not too far away, and everyone that just kind of like blows everybody's mind. But it was a really special place to be around, especially with all the musical influences. You had people coming from New York, you had Philly, you had some of the people of what's left of Atlantic City kind of all in one. So it was just a really nice little musical education in that little pocket of the world, and I'm certainly thankful for it. But I think everyone from Jersey, they're always so proud to be from there, but everyone's pretty happy to get out of it eventually too. And all Jersey musicians have this "I gotta get out of here" thing, like Springsteen and
yeah, it's just embedded into the DNA of being a musician from that state, right?
I guess, I don't know. But at least for me, that was true. And I moved to Nashville about 7 years ago. Yeah, 7. But
Yeah.
knock one off because I don't think this year counts for anybody. So
Yeah, it's like half a point. Did you always want to go to Nashville, or did you flirt with the idea of moving into Philadelphia or even up to New York? Did you know because of your style of music that you wanted to end up at Nashville?
So what's funny is that I flirted with the idea of New York, and I think one look at me and my mom went, "No, survive." And I mean, I was really into the New York thing as far as music. Every kid wants to go to Broadway because you're so close to New York. And I went and did the couple things, but it wasn't until I actually took a trip to Nashville that I was 110% sold. And that was with a show choir. As dorky as that sounds, I can touch like nobody's business.
It's a start, and it gets you on the road. That's not dorky. I think that's fantastic.
I always say it was like the real life Glee Club. So like that back in the 2000s, it was just so much juicier, like in real person. But that's how I got to Nashville for the first time. And then after that, I just came home with this like voracious appetite for songwriters. And then that kind of just fell down into the rabbit hole of finding Chris Christopherson, Emmylou Harris, John Prine, and then, I was just gone. So I begged my parents to homeschool me, which they just looked at me so confused. And I think I eventually just kept it up to the point where they said, "All right, okay."
Sure.
And then it was kind of off to the races from there. We started going to Nashville like every other weekend. And eventually everyone just said, "This is enough. We're going to have to go." So the whole family moved.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm quite literally right across the room from my mom and our 2 dogs. My sister's upstairs. So, I mean, like the entire family like hitched the wagons and came down here, which has really been just the biggest blessing of it all. Because when I have a bad day, mom's here. My grandmother's across the street. I know.
It's like the Beverly Hillbillies, but New Jersey to Nashville.
So I mean, one of the two you pick.
Yeah. That's awesome. You're really you're proud, and I think we're kind of cut from the same cloth in so much as we do music, but we're used to having to have jobs on the side to make ends meet. And it's something that you've talked about, and it's something that you're open about. I wanted to ask you what your worst job ever was. Worst job ever.
I've been really, really fortunate, and right now is not a bad job at all. Actually, my COVID job. This is actually probably one of the coolest jobs I've ever gotten right now. So we'll start with coolest job. Right now, I'm tutoring a student who is virtually learning through Metro Nashville schools online.
Oh, cool.
So that's been the coolest thing because I get to go there every day, and when she gets something, it's just the coolest thing ever. I just get so excited. Worst job. Gosh, I've been really lucky. I mean, I really have to say I'm really lucky, but trying to think of just the most bizarre thing. Okay, so this was a job that almost panned out, and I have a feeling it wouldn't have panned out well.
Okay.
So we're going to buy somebody in a hair, and she asked if I did. It was, I quote, "Do you do the mermaid princess for kids parties?" And I just went, ooh. I thought about it, and then I was like, how much are we thinking? much are you thinking? And I didn't end up going through with it, but the thought of like in the middle of July in a fin with lots of children like pulling at it, that was almost the job that I would have probably instead have been the worst. Plus fins are really expensive because I didn't think I'd ever be on Google, like my search history, please delete it, because it was just like fins on Etsy, you know, real mermaid fins.
Right.
And like they're like $5,000. So I just said the ROI on this is not worth it. So yeah,
No.
almost birthday party mermaid would have been the worst. But pretty lucky right now.
Yeah. Well, what was the worst that you actually had, though? Not the almost. I'm sure, because you were working in Music City. There had to be something just...
Okay, worst gig. So this was doing music.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was prior to every artist owning a bar down on Broadway. So I remember being 14, 15, playing the bars, but early in the day. Like by 10 o'clock, they were like, get this kid out of here. So I couldn't play at 10, you know, the good paying shifts. So I got like the 11 a.m. shifts that nobody in their right mind should have been down there on like a Monday afternoon at 11 a.m. But
No.
there were. And I just remember going over to the side. It was called Rock Bar. Now I think it's Jason Aldean's, or no, it's Luke Bryan's. Before it was Luke Bryan's, it was called Rock Bar.
Sure.
I remember this very large, creepy crawly just went just right over my foot. And I just went, oh, this is a lot. This is a lot for me. Broadway was rough. I will say I'm thankful for Broadway because that's how I was able to make ends meet for a long time before my family eventually all came down. I kind of went down at first with my dad, and he was a mall security guard at Opry Mill, so I never saw him. And me and my bandmates were just like playing for tips on Broadway, trying to make everything work. And that was before the clubs really got cleaned up and got pretty celebrity names on the front. So
Right.
Old Nashville, never.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So you've been at this quite a long time. You know, your most recent singles have been Rhinestone and Angel from Montgomery, which have both been released this year. Something that a lot of our artists on HelloooTV, I like to ask them because the answers are always interesting. And there really is no wrong answer. But I'm curious your input of the ideology behind putting out singles or an EP versus putting out a record that's a little bit more of a punctuation of kind of an era in more of a traditional sense.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a proclivity for one or the other? Which way do you like to lean?
Well, I can tell you right now, financially, an album is very difficult. And I'm sure that that's been probably one of the most common answers.
Yeah.
I wish... And I tell my mom this all the time because her and I will just have these heart-to-hearts. And I'm so thankful that she did mortgages. Like, music was not a thing for her. So here comes her little hippie child, like, and she has no idea what to do. And she's just followed me through this whole thing. And I just said, you know, I wish I could have had a chance to be able to experience the music scene when you could put out these album eras and be able to make this statement of this is what my life was like with Adele, 21, and 20, I forget what the other one was, but it was these little snapshots of her life in 12 songs. And now I definitely feel this pressure of instead it's got to be one and then out and then another one and then out. And that's really neat. And I love it for the people that I'm able to connect with online because they get very excited and I feel like I can give them something and it's, you know, it's 3 minutes. So I can say, here's 3 minutes. And then you can give it a couple months, 3 minutes, here's 3 minutes. But the artist in me wishes so bad that, and I'm hoping that the album statement will come back. Because I really do miss that. I miss going through just some of the most iconic albums and going through this like whole play or opera, you will, of how it moves and then how it ends. Like, it's just so neat. And I also feel this pressure too on artists because it is so single driven.
Yeah.
That if you're not putting out something, every 3 weeks, every month, every whatever it may be, people start to think, are you not doing music anymore? Or are you not relevant? And I can just tell you, for me right now, I have some things recorded in the can that I don't think have aged the best as I've grown up. Things that
Interesting.
haven't released, and now I have them in the can, but I think I grew up a different way. And also releasing music right now, I have this huge gut feeling that for me, and this may not be the same for everybody, but for me, releasing music right now just doesn't feel like the right thing to do. And I don't know why. I'm still trying to listen to my gut, but
I was just gonna say, you're going with your intuition. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. I'm just amazed at kind of the diaspora, or the difference between all of the answers that we get, because there isn't a wrong answer, but everybody's approach, and to kind of their approach to the idea of an album cycle or a single cycle. It doesn't matter if it's somebody at your level or it's somebody on Billie Eilish's team. They're all kind of rethinking this because it's constantly changing.
And I think you, and I could just be wrong, but I know that I've felt a bit of this almost fatigue around, okay, not to quote DJ Khaled here, but like another one, like, and instead of the album, which I think could be thought over, what was it, 2 years, an album cycle, being able to think and create this body of work, and then this body of work, and then go into another 2-year cycle of creating yet another body of work. So I do miss that, even though I never had the opportunity to make those albums as a music consumer. I miss that. But also, to play devil's advocate, it is really exciting when you have an artist that you love and you have followed, and then you just wake up one day and they just drop something new, especially during times like this. It really just brightens your day. But
absolutely,
I'll always miss albums forever.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of questions here from people on Facebook.
Oh, sweet. Hi.
What's the best gift you have ever received?
Oh, best gift I ever received.
It was probably the lamp that's illuminating the room, the seasonal affective disorder lamp, right? Yeah.
That was mine. Fine.
Oh, okay. Self-buy.
Best gift. Let me think here. Probably the first guitar I really got was my favorite, even though it wasn't the guitar that kept me out into that got me going. I think it was really neat that I was in 2nd grade and I asked Santa for a guitar. Sorry, that's my dog. And
that's right.
Santa didn't know that I needed a non-nylon string guitar, that I wanted to, rock out a little bit more. So I needed, a guitar with an electric pickup. But Santa did the best that he knew, that from what he knew, what he could go off of. And I just think it was really neat that even 2nd grade me had this interest. And I put the guitar down for a while. It wasn't until freshman year that I picked it back up and actually got a big girl guitar. But
that's so cool that you say that, because that means that you came back to it on your own. It was like, it was always kind of there in the corner of the room, in the corner of your mind. And now you came to it because it was a calling, obviously.
I'm really angry too. I remember when I was learning, I was just like, if I would have just stuck with it, I would have been so good by now. But no, I had to quit. But, also with nylon strings and this classical guitar, I remember getting it and going, do guitars look like this? This isn't what I was thinking, but that's okay. So, I definitely had to come back around to it and finally understood, okay, that was a nylon string, still a guitar. Now we're going to come back to it.
Yeah. If you had to pick one song that you did not write, but you wished you did write, what would it be?
So I've said this on the record several times. When I released Angel from Montgomery, that was a take that was just a guitar vocal we did one day. I begged some guys that I was in the studio with. I said, can we just do this? Because that was the song that I ended up singing on American Idol off the cuff when it was my sister. And I always say that would have been the time for me to completely blank. Like, I know myself. Someone says sing a song, you forget every song you've ever learned or played in your entire life. But that was the first one that jumped out to me, to like sing this song. And that was definitely, I think, an intuition gut thing, because going into those songwriters, when I started to fall down that rabbit hole of just taking in every bit of music I could, John Bryan, Chris Christopherson, Emmylou Harris, these were these writers that I loved so much. So Angel from Montgomery has always had a really special place for me, and it's always aged. As I've grown up, I feel like I look at that song in so many different angles. I mean, John Prine, who's a man, wrote a song from the perspective of the first line, I am an old woman. Like, okay, that's
why John Prine was John Prine.
He could step
gotta rest his soul.
to the shoes of just these other souls, and to have that ability is a gift. And you know, you can only hope that someday you have the ability to be able to do something like that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Angel from Montgomery right now, and it's been a song that's really been so good to me over the years. And
now you've released your version of it, which is the cherry on top.
That tape got lost. Somebody had, a drive somewhere from the session, and I think for about 2 years I had just said, hey, do we have that session around anywhere? And I'll go ask so-and-so. How engineer? I'll go ask this. So when I saw the notification that John wasn't doing well, I said, I need that tape now for me. I need this. And somebody found it on a little orange drive somewhere. There was the session. So once we had found it, I just thought I would really like to put this out as almost just a thank you, because that song really did a lot for me, just as a writer, as a person. I was on TV with it, never expecting that to even happen, and I'm just glad of all the songs I could have picked that I got to pick one of his.
Yeah, that's amazing. I just have a couple more questions before we go any further. Yeah. I just want to reintroduce. My name is Jeff. I'm from HelloooTV. That's not nearly as important as our guest, which is Payton Taylor. Her and her awesome bandmates are performing tomorrow night on HelloooTV, which is our great weekly live streaming concert series. It's on at 9/8 Central. You can find it on her Facebook, on her YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook and YouTube channels of yours truly. Well, not me specifically, but HelloooTV. That's Hello with 3 O's TV.
1, 2, 3.
There you go. I've met other people who have done American Idol, and I've played some shows with them, and I've always kind of really tried to get to crack the veneer, really, to see what it felt like. Because you can kind of see what it's like, you can certainly hear what it's like, but could you personalize that experience for yours truly and for everybody else that's watching this interview?
Without breaking the NDA. All right.
No, I'm not digging for dirt. I'm that's not what I mean. But if you want to spill dirt on Hello Hangs, this is a perfect place to do it. So just go for it. But I'm really kind of curious about your frame of mind in that moment and kind of in that sort of spotlight, because it's, there was Star Search before, but that was almost kind of like a niche thing, and it was always tinged with comedy and, kind of like a throwback onto itself. Whereas American Idol has always made a good point to be modern and to create the flow or really the tide of what's modern. So what did it feel like for you in those moments? What was really kind of going through your heart and through your head?
Well, what was that? Shush. My mom is saying things that are going to break the NDA, so I don't want to get sued. I'm kidding.
Thanks, Ma.
Thanks, Mom. See, this is the great thing about living at home, though. I wouldn't change it for the world. So as far as, I'm going to say this, as far as being around other creatives, it felt like the summer, you know, School of Rock camp that I never got the chance to be able to go to. It was really amazing. And I still tried my best to keep in touch with the people that I was with that.
Sure.
As
That's encouraging to hear. It kind of has like a circus quality to it, you know, like you're all kind of in this together and there's that camaraderie. That's pretty cool.
you do kind of get this, I mean, lean on people for support because you are such a tiny group of people going through this crazy thing and you're the only other person, or like your group of peers is the only person who understands what you're going through at that time.
Right.
To have each other to lean on was really neat. And I will say this again, just a wonderful group of talented human beings. I remember my fear going forward into the show was, you know, I never did pageants. I don't want this to be like toddlers and tiaras with grown people. Like, I don't have, I love music too much to get to that point.
Sure.
I have to say I'm going home. I'm sorry. Honestly, one of the most genuine and talented group of people I've ever met. As far as the show, I'd like to think that I'm a more private person. I really do consider my privacy as far as, you know, working on music and things like that, like really just sacred moments. And it's very odd to be in a setting where you know that at all times, except going to the bathroom,
You're being filmed, yeah.
That you're being filmed. And there's very vulnerable moments that you go through during times like that. I'll be honest, I was so hangry because it happened during Hollywood Week. Something happened with the food during our Hollywood Week. You remember back in the day, Hollywood Week, you know, they would make all the, you know, it was like, dun, 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 and everyone would just, it was just pure chaos. Something happened where the kids were getting sick. When I say the kids, they were my age, but everybody was getting sick from the food. So now we can't go out and get food anywhere else. It became Survivor. It became Survivor with some singing. That's kind of what it began to feel like. So I just remember being so hungry. I called my mom and I said, Mom, I don't care where you are, wherever you are, please bring me some food. I'm so hungry, and if I eat the food here, I'm going to get sick. Because a couple kids ended up going to the hospital.
What was the food?
I don't know, because I wasn't getting near it. Nay, I was not getting near it. As soon as I heard like 3 kids had the same thing and got sick, so my mom had to meet me behind, I think it was like the Orpheum Theater in LA.
Yeah.
A back alley there, and my mom just ran over and she got like some Greek food. She's like, here you go.
Nice.
And pulled it like out of the jacket, and I had to grab it and run back. And I was just so happy. I think I could have cried because that was one whole week. I mean, I lost 10 pounds from just pure exhaustion, and nobody ate. So that was the joke. But musically, the band, the musical director, and I'm going to completely blank on his name, but it is Katy Perry's musical director. He ran the band. Unreal, unbelievable. And getting to them was just,
yeah, they're fantastic. Their bands are always so killer.
Starving, but I was really happy to be there. So
Yeah.
to get to play with those kind of musicians and to be surrounded by those kinds of people, to still have friends that went through the process. We can text each other inside jokes like, hey, remember group night? And, you know, things like that you wouldn't be able to do with anybody else.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I really had a blast, but I'll just wrap it up by saying I was really happy to get back to music, like the actual process of writing and singing once I was done my time on the show. Especially if you're a writer, it begins to feel difficult because you're a writer. Part of your heart is writing, and you don't get to do that as much. So
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
as somebody who used to live and work in Hollywood and work in restaurants in Hollywood and for catering companies, I bet you it was the kale. Something about that Hollywood kale, man. You just can't trust it. I bet that's what got everybody sick.
I don't know. I just remember somebody got sick, and it looked like my mom and I were in the back alley, like having a shady exchange of some sort, and it was just chicken. I was just
Yeah. I did want to ask as well, and this is kind of a two-part question because I think it's unique to Nashville, and it's unique to country music, I think. It's not specific to it, but I think it's unique to it. You had an opportunity, you performed at the Grand Ole Opry,
yes.
which has got to be just like a bucket list thing, right? But
I-
you performed with William Michael Morgan, is that correct?
correct.
So he's our friend. He was on the show last season. I fell in love with him as soon as I looked into his dreamy eyes here on Hello Hangs. But I want you to speak a little bit about your experience at the Grand Ole Opry, but also about the idea in country music of the power of the duet.
Ooh.
It's so unique to country music, and it's something that I love. It happens in pop kind of here and there, but in country music, it seems like it's a really specified and significant, almost keystone part of someone's career.
No, that's a great question. Well, I'll touch on the Opry briefly. It was Opry at the Ryman. So not only was it my first Opry, but it was my first Ryman.
Wow.
I
Oh
hope
my goodness.
I
Talk about two birds with one stone.
and I only had
Oh.
notice. It was the Wednesday prior to Yes, it was Wednesday. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and I was working. I was helping out Devin O'Day on the Opry radio station that afternoon, and I got a call from William Michael, and he said, with his voice, "Hey, darling, you want to play the Opry on Friday?" So immediately, I have the photo on my phone, and I will send it to you. I am just tears. I mean, it was just disgusting, the amount of tears. And I told Devin, well, as soon as she was off the air, I said, I gotta go find something to wear, because you think, like, as a girl, you're like, what's your Opry dress gonna look like?
Yeah, that's important. It's only the biggest moment of your career,
3 hours before the stores were going to close, prior to Thanksgiving. They're going to be closed on Thanksgiving, and then Black Friday, there's no way I'm going to be able to shop for a dress that day. So my mom and I, we run to the kind of shady mall that's here, but it was the closest thing we could get to on time, get there quick. And we just start throwing just every dress possible over our shoulders. Like, if it's in my size, throw it. And we threw it over our shoulders, and we start, putting everything up. And this security guard walks over to my mom and goes, "Ma'am, we see you on the camera. Why do you have all these dresses?" And my mom goes, "Oh, she's playing at the Opry on Friday. It's no big deal." And I'm like, we could have been in some serious trouble if they thought we were stealing all these dresses.
Were they impressed with it? Were they like, hell yeah, that's awesome? Or were they like, they didn't give a shit?
Why do you have these many dresses? And
Yeah.
But it's the Opry dress. You don't understand. So ended up finding one that would fit the bill. But to go and sing with William in particular, William was one of the first artists and truly one of the first friends that I met when I moved to Nashville.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
We always had this, ongoing joke of, if you get to play the Opry someday, maybe we'll get to do it together. How fun would that be? And, you just dream about it when you're just kind of starting out and trying to get your feet wet. And he was kind enough to ask me to do it. So that's where you look at so many of the duets throughout the years. Like Dolly and Kenny Rogers doing Islands in the Stream.
Sure.
Because they were best friends. And, so many others. It's from this very organic place of two acts wanting to do something together. And William and I have since talked about doing something together, writing together, or just doing something. And I want to record something with him someday. But to be able to do the Opry with him, That was really unforgettable, and I'm thankful he was there, because I was just like, I remember, because they do the Opry, there's 2 shows. There's an early show and a late show.
Okay.
Early show was the first time I had to walk out. So the first time I walked out, everything was cool, everything was fine. And then I turn around and I see the stained glass of the Ryman like in the back. And that's when I went, this is real. Like, this is happening right now.
Here I am. Yeah.
My like little heels must have been like shaking, like as I'm walking over, you know, like don't trip, don't look like an idiot, smile, you know. I didn't know what to do on that first show. And I remember hearing it back, how I sang, and I remember I feel like I even sounded shaky, but at that point I didn't even care, because now I can look back and go, look at how excited I was. And then by the second show, I just was able to walk out like an old pro, you know, like I did this the first time, I got this. But it's still, nevertheless, you know, just as magical. I just wasn't as scared to death. So what's so neat, I think, about country duets, they always come from a place of 2 artists, friends. Sometimes they're, you know, they're each other's boo or whatever. And you...
Or maybe not, but that's, you know, that's what all the listeners are always kind of hoping for.
Ooh,
Yeah.
are they not? Like, you know, when Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga did that big thing and everyone freaked out.
Yeah, everyone's like, are they? Aren't they? I mean, that's great publicity, if nothing else, right?
I know. It's really neat how with Nashville and country duets, friends and just, you hear it. I think you hear it, and that's what's so special to me. And I'm thankful that I had a good enough friend as William to invite me up to do that. So I'm forever grateful for him.
Yeah, and shout out to William Michael Morgan, who's currently on tour in Liechtenstein, which, for those keeping track at home, is a micronation in Europe that is smaller than Murfreesboro. So how he's been doing a 3-week tour in a country that's that small, we'll never know. But we miss you, William, and we hope that you're doing well.
On that, it was supposed to pan out to where we were able to go to Buckle and Boots in Manchester, England together. And then I think I was just going to pal around for the Grand William Michael Morgan European vacation and just see where it goes. Like, what could possibly go wrong? But Buckle and Boots has since been moved. So I was pretty jealous. I wanted to mark off the world's 6th smallest nation off my passport, but so nice.
Yeah, speaking from experience, it's a lovely place. I've played there, but I was there for maybe 18 hours, so I don't know what he's doing over there for. I know he's got to do quarantine. I was there, you know, in December before the shit hit the fan, as we say. But that's wonderful. We're really looking forward to the show tomorrow. You and your band are so great. Is there anything that you want to plug before I let you go enjoy the rest of your evening?
You know, I honestly want to just take a minute and really genuinely thank everybody at HelloooTV. My mom, who's sitting right here, can vouch that I was so scared to get back in front of a band after not being, you know, in the driver's seat up, you know, in front of a band since February. So, to have the opportunity to get back in the saddle, so to speak, and kind of feel that normalcy again was, it just helped me keep my sanity so much doing the rehearsals and being able to see everybody again, being able to see my bass player, which huge shout out to Jake Murch. I don't know if he's watching, but he just keeps everything together and can write a chart like nobody's business. So thank goodness for him. It was just so wonderful to be able to get back into that kind of setting. And plus Hannah Smuda is a great friend of mine, and she was there that day. And it just felt like we kind of were able to, I mean, quite literally get the band back together.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that kind of production. My sister actually did background vocals, and she looked over at me and went, how am I going to breathe with all this hazer? And I just said, go with it. You're a professional. But it just looked incredible from what I could see. So I am looking forward to it just as much as y'all are. And I want to thank you for taking the time to not only produce these kinds of shows for people to watch, but for the artists to be able to to feel like artists again, if that makes any sense. So
that means a lot. Yeah, thank you very much. As much as I would like to take credit for everything that you just said, I should not take any of it. Our team in Nashville is incredible,
yes.
and our co-producers, Eric and Paris, you know, the germ of the idea was theirs, and they ran with it. And you know, a wise man once said, "Holy shit!" And here we are, all these months later. And I can't thank them enough for the opportunities, and I know that it makes them feel good when artists like yourself are able to extend that gratitude in the way that you just did. So on behalf of all of us, thank you very much. We appreciate you and your band participating with HelloooTV.
Thank you, and I'll be watching tomorrow. Just like, oh my gosh, don't mess up, even though we'll be, you know, watching it like as it was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you talking about? You'll be performing live, remember?
Yeah.
Right. All right. My name is Jeff Berman. I'm with HelloooTV. This has been Hello Hangs, our Thursday night interview segment with Payton Taylor, who's performing on Friday night. Quick recap. Every Thursday, we do Hello Hangs, where we get to know and interview and learn a little bit about what's going on with the artists that we're spotlighting. And then on Friday nights, every Friday night at 8 Central, HelloooTV has a great new concert for you to enjoy in the comfort of your home, in the safety of your own home, for free. So on behalf of everyone at HelloooTV, Payton Taylor, I want to say thank you all for watching Hello Hangs. And you're very welcome, Payton, and we'll see you tomorrow night on stage at HelloooTV.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Bye.